everyone, and welcome to my first cosplay video on my Patreon. So I am really excited to start making videos and tutorials on how I make some of my cosplays. So today I'm going to be talking about how I made my Tyrande cosplay, more specifically the breastplate. So I brought the breastplate with me to school. It's one of my favorite cosplays, definitely. So the breastplate is made entirely of Worbla. There is no craft foam, it's just Worbla. So this breastplate took me, I'd say, about 10 hours to make, including all the trial and error I went through and all the time I spent painting and priming and going back and fixing little details. So it was my first time working with Worbla, and that definitely, I definitely had a few setbacks because of that, but overall I am really happy with how it turned out. So I'm just going to get into how I made it. Unfortunately, I did not film a video of me making it, like the process, but I will be describing how I made it and what steps I took and some ways that I would suggest working with Worbla if you want to do so in the future. So just some Worbla basics. If you decide to use Worbla, Worbla is a plastic that bends with heat. So most cosplayers use a heat gun. So it's basically a gun that shoots really hot air, and it heats the Worbla up enough to the point where it is soft and bendy, and it will also stick to itself when it's in this heated state. And it will dry off naturally on its own, it will cool off, and it will become hard. And do be careful when working with Worbla because it is very hot. In retrospect, I definitely should have worn some heat gloves when working with Worbla. I was just using my bare hands, and that did lead to several burns. Luckily no scars, but it was definitely a lesson learned. So for the breastplate, I did what I usually do when I make craft foam breastplates, and I just started by taping a base to my body. So what I do is I take off my shirt. I have maybe a bra on or something. If you're a male, you probably won't need one of those, but basically you just cover your body in saran wrap, you know, the clear plastic wrap that you can buy at a grocery store, and it's not the most pleasant feeling, but it definitely works the best in my opinion. So then what you do is you cover that saran wrap in duct tape, and you just cover the entire thing. It takes a lot of duct tape, but it's definitely worth it. And then what you want to do is, once everything is really fitting well to your body and your curves and you feel comfortable, it's not too tight, it's not too loose, you can start drawing out the pattern. So for my Tyrande pattern, I did not draw out the feathers, I put those on later. So I drew out the base that I used, which is just this, the back, and I drew out the cups. So what I do is you want to take a Sharpie and just start sketching on yourself. If you have someone helping you, it might help to have someone help sketching in the back or on the sides if you can't really see what you're doing. But I pretty much just used a mirror, and it turned out pretty well. So I sketched it out, and once I was done sketching it, some people like to add the details when they sketch. I don't, because I put those on later, and I don't use the base to make little templates for the details. I free-handed all the details, and I'll talk about that later. So once I was done sketching everything out, you do a cut down the middle, and then you free yourself from your saran wrap prison, and you have a good base. So then what I did is I cut out the base separately. I cut the base into two separate parts. You can see there's a seam here. So this is the base, the cups are done separately. So I cut it into two pieces, and what I like to do is I like to take just one half of the sketch that I did, the one that I think looks better, and use that for both sides, so they're identical, so they look exactly the same, because there is some human error when you decide to freehand on yourself. So I just ended up, I think I used this half for most of the base, and so I cut that out, and I heated my Worbla, and I shaped it to my body. So what I did is I just heated it, and be careful if you're doing this, I heated it and I just held it to my body until it was cool and could maintain the shape on its own. So then I decided to mold them together. So I just heated up the center of the Worbla and mushed them together. I also added an extra piece of Worbla just down the middle of the seam to really make it secure, and so nothing will come apart, because Worbla can be kind of finicky. You really have to make sure it's attached, or else with enough pressure it will come apart if you stick two pieces together. So then what I did was I cut out the breastplates. I cut out the breastplate pieces. If you do not have a chest, a 3D chest, this most likely will not apply to you. But what you want to do when making a curved surface is find a curved item to use as a reference to put the mold on top of, so you can really get a good shape. So what I did is I used one of my own bras. I used a strapless bra that had a really good cup shape. I think would work well with this design, because as you can see, the cups do not meet in the middle. There is a gap, and a lot of bras, they just kind of meet in the center, and so you want to make sure that you're doing the right cup size for the design, because some breastplates will meet in the middle, some will have a gap like this one. So I used my strapless bra and I heat formed the Worbla. I cut out little squares a little bit bigger than I needed, and then I took the Worbla squares and I heated them directly onto the bra. So I just heated it up and I was gently pushing on the bra. You don't want to push too hard if you're working with a fabric surface, because you don't want the Worbla to stick to the fabric and not be able to get it off when it hardens. So I gently pressed it down into the shape, and once I was done, I removed the piece and then I cut out the cup, and then I cut out the top shape in the shape that I wanted it, and then you're done with the cups. So it takes some practice, definitely, and you want to find a good solid curved surface to work with. Some people like to use little globes, some people like to use tennis balls. It really also depends upon your chest size. So once I was done, I took the cups and I heated them directly onto the base. I just softened up the bottom of the cups and of the base, so they were both kind of moldable and sticky. So then I just stuck them directly on, and you really want to push and make sure they're really on there. I also added a little bit of crazy glue underneath. You can't actually see it, it's so little, just to really make sure that they stick on there. And that's the base. So yes, that is how I did the base of the cosplay. I will make another video detailing how I made the detailing, and then I will make a final video detailing how I did the paint job. And I think the paint job, in my opinion, is the most fun. It is the time that I really get to get creative and kind of figure out what works best on different materials. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions and you have my email, you are more than welcome to send them to me, and I will tell you whatever I can. So thank you again for being a member of my new Patreon. I really appreciate it, and I really hope you guys enjoy my content. So thank you so much for watching.